You're listening to the Source Property Podcast, your number one source of tips and tricks for starting your property business. Hello and welcome to another Source Property Podcast. My name is Chris Kirkwood and joining me today is one of our fantastic franchisees, Tim Kampel. Hello, Tim.
Hi, Grace. Thanks for having me.
That's all right. Well, thanks for having you back, because this is not your first podcast, is it?
No, second one.
You must have done all right the first one. Congratulations.
Debatable, but...
So we're back with another episode of our incredible series From the Ground Up, which is showing you that regardless of your background, you can make property work for you. So it's quite a simple one for me. Tell us about yourself, Tim.
Okie dokie. So, I'm originally from Bournemouth. At about 18, I first went into property. I was kind of interested in the estate agency side. Might want to edit that one out.
Nope.
No, okay. I started as a trainee negotiator. Worked my way up.
Which is in the hierarchy of an estate agency, because 18 is young.
Yeah.
So in the hierarchy of an estate agency, where do they sit?
They sit probably just above the mice that kick about in the office. So I'd gone from a management training course with Tesco to basically the bottom of the pile of estate agency, which everyone hates estate agents anyway. Mm-hmm. So I was at the bottom of the most hated pile.
Yeah.
Great experience though, going around viewing properties, just doing viewings, and then the buzz I got when I first sold a house was just unbelievable, and from that moment I was like, I want to be in property. Absolutely loved it. The people I was working with were fantastic, and one of the people was leaving to go and work for a developer, which I was really, really envious for. I had no idea how it would work or anything like that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where it all started many years ago, about 25 years ago now.
So as an estate agent, did you call yourself a trainee estate agent?
Yeah, trainee.
As a trainee estate agent, how long does it take you to be a trainee before you are an estate agent?
It depends how annoying you are, and how...
And how does that metric work? The more annoying, the quicker, or the more annoying, the slower?
Yeah. It could go either way, to be honest. I was quite lucky because I straight away started selling things.
Right.
So as a result, I kind of moved up quite quickly. Mm-hmm. Sales negotiator, then senior negotiator, started to training the other negotiators, and then eventually onto branch manager.
By what age?
Ooh, probably about 22.
Wow, that is good.
Yeah.
So on average, how many properties does one standard employee in an estate agency sell per month?
We were targeted back then, I mean, it was years ago, but it was about 8 sales a month, 9 sales, something like that.
Wow, that's pretty good commission, right?
Yeah, well, you'd think so. Depends who you work for. If it's a large corporate, you tend to get quite small commissions for it.
Right, okay. So you got to the point of branch manager.
Yep.
How long did you stay there?
Probably a year or so. Mm-hmm. And the property market started to change. I then decided to go and live abroad and sell timeshare for a bit.
And so the property market started to change. Just unpack that a little bit for us. So what do you mean by that? It was getting too tough, or the main company were going to close down offices?
No,
or?
I mean, it was switching with the whole kind of subprime mortgage lending problems. People couldn't get mortgages. House prices kind of stagnated and then started to drop. A lot of people ended up in negative equity.
So this is 07, 08,
Yeah,
09?
yeah. So it was around that kind of time.
Okay. So then the moving abroad.
Yeah.
That sounds quite interesting.
Yeah, it was. So I thought everyone hates estate agents. Who do people hate more than estate agents? And it's timeshare salespeople. So I thought that'd be a good thing to move into.
You've got a good length of people hating you as a timeshare, because you get the people that buy timeshare are reminded that they hate you every single year for the period of their timeshare, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then at the start of the year, if they've got to pay any fees to look after their timeshare, they are, again, that bloody Tim.
Oh, yeah. My partner weirdly ended up buying at the same place that I was selling at. Didn't know her at the time.
No way.
So I've gone back with her to the timeshare place that she bought out that I sold at.
So how long did you do that for?
Not very long, to be honest. Went out there for probably a couple of months. And then suddenly I was going to become a dad. So came back to the UK and moved into lettings. I'd always done sales before.
Yeah.
Decided to relocate, move up north. And as a result of kind of relocation, I went into lettings.
So did you feel at the time that that was a bit of a step back away from property, like the cutting edge of property?
Yes and no. I got the job as a branch manager for a lettings agency,
Okay.
so it was kind of similar kind of level. Like I said, I'd never done lettings before, so I thought this is good. Again, it was with a view of being able to work for myself, because I thought I've got my sales experience. If I can get some lettings experience, the market had changed, like I said, so most agents were beginning to diversify and do sales and lettings. So that's kind of where I was going with that.
And then?
And then the government said, right, everyone needs to have a home information pack before they sell their property. So I thought, okay, this sounds, again, an ideal sector to kind of move into. So I looked into it.
Because it's mandatory, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's got to have one. It's not as if you can choose to have
No,
one. That sounds like the ideal thing to get into.
It is. Again, you're going to get hated, though, because you're selling something that no one wants but everyone needs.
And has to pay for.
Yeah, £350 to about £700 a time. So I kind of set up a part-time business running it alongside my current job as the branch manager of providing the home information packs. And then I thought, okay, I've had enough of working for someone, and that was my first kind of step into my own business, really.
And then stepping into your own business there, was that close enough to property that you wanted to be?
No.
Because you are still very much focused on, the product, the business itself, which just so happens to be something loosely to do with property, not actually doing property.
I mean, everything that I'd done career-wise was always for one thing. It was always for the money, which was such a bad move. I knew what I wanted to do, which was developing and the more kind of creative side, so to speak. But I'd always done the moves for the money. So my other company grew, and obviously the money was there, and that was great, but it was still lacking that kind of sense of achievement and satisfaction, although it's still a good service.
And so come the government's decision to get rid of home information packs, what did that do to your business?
I saw it kind of coming, so I decided to diversify. I trained as a domestic energy assessor, a commercial energy assessor.
Hey, they're not universally hated.
Not at all.
That must have been quite nice for you.
They are now, though, with the talks of the minimum regulations and things like this. People now email you and said, you did an EPC about 8 years ago. We think you've done it wrong. And are you an energy assessor? So, yeah, again, now it's starting to become a hated role. So, yeah.
But still less hated than either being an estate agent, a timeshare salesperson, or a lettings manager.
Yeah.
Surely.
We've missed out the makeup company.
How did that have anything to do with property?
It didn't. It was just a side tangent, basically. Decided to set up a makeup company.
Of course you did.
Got worldwide distribution rights for a brand that was huge in China, but nowhere else around the world. And ran that for some time as well as the property companies.
Okay.
Very random. That ended due to the Russians. Lots of threats, long story. We'll move on from there.
Apparently, by the time you're 30, I once saw a statistic that said you've tried 7 different careers, but those 7 different careers tend to be all sort of closely related. They're all within the same sort of boundary, which you've absolutely hit. And then right out there in left field, you've got the makeup company.
Yeah.
So what happened to that?
With that, like I said, basically loads of issues importing stock into the country, loads of counterfeits. Everyone's trying to copy your product. Customs are seizing your product all the time. So it was a massive headache. I thought, right, I know where I should be. Property, makeup is not the way forward.
And where did that fit in the timeline?
Again, that was kind of parallel to running my other company, the EPC company.
But that's really interesting though, isn't it? Because that shows your sort of entrepreneurial spirit. And you've got that entrepreneurial spirit coming out in this really random career decision, and yet everything else that you're doing is based in property. And that sort of shows the way that you then go, doesn't it? But because it shows that you want to do things on your own, you want to think differently to everybody else, and you want to be involved in property. But you'd have thought that those big corporates and the very controlled and systemised ways were probably not doing it for you.
I kind of did the makeup to build cash flow. The sales were fantastic, and I thought, okay, I can use this money to put into property.
Can I just say you look fabulous today as well?
Oh, well, thank
Clearly
you. That would
still
be
using.
the eyeliner and the hair shampoo. But yeah.
So then what?
So EPC has a valid life for 10 years.
Yeah.
So obviously we'd lost the home information pack part of it due to it being used as a tool in the elections. Then 98% of your business disappears overnight. Suddenly I'm an EPC provider going out doing the appointments.
And did that overtake the HIP stuff, the home information?
It was
pack
in
stuff
the home information. Yeah, I mean,
quickly?
the EPC was part of the home information pack, and then all the documents are still there, but they're just done at the end now. So the cost is still there. The only thing that remained up front is the EPC. So in addition to that, obviously a 10-year lifespan's a long time to kind of go through. So we added floor plans, photography, inventories, anything we could that would make an estate agent's life easier and help them to order everything from one place.
Again, it's still mandatory for sales and lettings, isn't it? So that must have helped.
Yeah, another mandatory product. All good.
And then run that for a period of years.
Yeah, still going. 15 years it was last month.
How satisfying is that?
In some ways, it's pretty satisfying, although it doesn't give me the immediate kind of satisfaction that I've kind of mentioned that you get when you've done something like developing a property.
And would you say that that's the same satisfaction that you got from selling that original property at the estate agent, or is developing the property even different to that?
I would say it's different. The sense of achievement I got, excuse me, when the property was all done, the carpets were in, it was painted, and the fact that my electrician wanted to move in there and he could see the project coming along and then he saw the finish, that was just such a massive sense of achievement for me.
It's so misleading as well, because you go through that process and you've got somebody, you don't even have to advertise it. You have to do literally nothing and you've got a tenant in there.
Well,
and then for the next one, when it's not quite that simple, you sort of take a step back and go, well, why is it not this simple? What am I doing wrong? There should be somebody knocking at my door to take this property off. Does people not know that I've made a property here?
Well, I had 2 tenants lined up anyway. A neighbour wanted it as well. So literally even before it was going on the market, it had interest.
And what's the current state of that property?
All done, remortgaged, tenants in there, happy as Larry.
Same tenants as original?
Ye-
I mean, it was only a couple of months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You rented that out,
Yeah, December.
And they're still happy?
Yeah.
Any problems from that property?
None whatsoever.
Okay. So at what point in that stage did you become a source franchisee?
That was before that property. That was like right at the start. So I took on my source franchise in October 2021.
So you're, at this point, out of all the stuff that you've done, at this point, all you've got going on is the EPC stuff.
Yeah, the EPC
You
business.
ditched the makeup.
Yeah,
Put that to
makeup's
one
gone.
side.
Yeah, back in the drawer for the weekends. So I'm focusing purely on EPCs, purely on everything like that.
But you've still got the itch to get into property.
Yeah, still thinking I still want to develop.
So you're an educated and you're a very thoughtful person. So what was your process to find out the easiest or the best way that you could then join that sort of development tier?
Right. So for me, initially I was quite sceptical. I've tried different things. I've kind of summarised what I've done in my working life slightly. I've paid for numerous training courses and things like that. Generally, you pay for your training and then you're kind of off on your own and you're kind of plodding along. And then because you've not got anyone to ask, you end up kind of going wrong and failing, and then your motivation kind of wanes and you've got no real kind of commitment. So I thought I'd really look into it.
And is that why you didn't do this for yourself? Is that why you didn't? Because you didn't want to be sort of half-assed about it. You wanted to make sure that you were going to commit to it.
Partly I felt I didn't have the knowledge, and also I didn't have the support. And the way I kind of viewed it is I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't want to do it and do it really badly and go massively wrong and end up losing loads of money. So I wanted that safety net of people to ask for help and advice and second opinions on things like figures and that kind of thing.
So how did you find Sourced?
Initially, I was looking on franchise websites, so I thought that would be a good place to start. There were a couple of opportunities I was looking at, and I just kind of sat on the sidelines and watched various different opportunities unfold. I watched some webinars with Ewan talking about different strategies and stuff. Didn't put me off.
Oh, thank goodness.
And then after that, I thought, okay, I'm going to achieve absolutely nothing if I keep sitting at the side doing nothing. So my next port of call was I contacted head office, who ran through everything, and said, oh, you can have a phone call with one of our franchisees. Again, because I was so skeptical, I thought, no, could be anyone, could be an actor. And I would rather drive to them. So I went to see Jason down in Hull, drove along the M62, sat down.
He could still be an actor.
He could be. He could be.
I mean, that's next level cynical.
It really is. But after seeing Jason, who could still have been an actor, who said it was great, and we talked through his joint venture and everything, Profit, I thought this is exactly what I need. But still sceptical. I want to go and see if there's more actors at head office. So I then booked to go to head office the following week and check it was all real, check it was a real building, check that people were there, see if people knew stuff.
Somebody asked us that today as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Somebody asked us that today. They said,
Yeah.
do you actually work here?
Yeah.
Like, it's all branded up and it's all very, very obviously a property business. And yet, yeah, of course we do, yeah.
Yeah. So after I'd seen that, met you again, met Sam, thought, yeah, okay,
Still not put off.
I'll take this on. They've clearly got a good supply of actors. And then signed up. So, yeah.
So since you signed up, what do you think have been the biggest things that we've helped you with?
Well, I didn't even know deal sourcing was a thing until after basically joining. So it was the sheer amount of knowledge. I mean, I'd worked in property at that point for 25 years, and suddenly my eyes were opened into all these different ways to earn money from it. And I thought, okay, well, this is fantastic. So I need to just blast out all the training, come to as many in-person training sessions as possible, do as much online as I can.
Couldn't get ready for a while, could we?
No. And what I got from that is not only the training and meeting people who knew about different areas of it, but I also made friends and contacts within the network themselves. So you can then do business with those people. And even things that you've seen before, if you come back to head office, you'll have a conversation or you'll hear something. And suddenly you go, right, I'd never thought of that. Like today when you were talking about the assisted sales. I suddenly thought, why have I never even thought about pushing that as a service? So ideas just pop in to my head.
So did we?
Frantic, really.
When you came to us and you had your sort of idea of the direction that you wanted to go, because you said that you saw Jason's JV project and you thought that's exactly what you want to do.
Yep.
When you came to us and you had your idea of which direction you wanted to go, but then your eyes were open to all these different things that we do, and you mentioned sourcing and selling on deals. Did that take you away from where you originally wanted to be, or did that provide extra ways of earning money on your journey to do what you originally wanted to do?
It did. So initially, although I was aware of all of these different ways of potentially earning, I still had almost like these blinkers on of, right, developing's where it's at, and that was the goal. Then
You're not alone there.
No. Then I was booked in for my induction. I got COVID, so I couldn't do it. So I thought, okay, what I can do is I can watch all the training, I can read everything that's available, and I can also start. And then I found a couple of deals. I then sold them, and then I did my induction. And then the big stumbling block for me, even though I knew I had the support and the guidance, was getting out there and making the offers and building the contacts and just going for it. Because it's still scary when you're going out to buy a property. I don't know, maybe it's just me. It's like, this is quite scary stuff. Is it just me?
What's the biggest offer that you've made since you've joined us?
2.5 million.
Pretty comfortable with it now then?
Yeah, because we've done 2.5 million, we've done we've done a few in the twos.
Yeah.
Yeah, another one, 2 weeks ago for 950,000.
Over 2 million is like water off a duck's back now.
Yeah. Easy.
So what are your what is that direction that you're trying to get towards? What is it you're trying to achieve?
The direction is to do some joint ventures with head office to get more knowledge, more funds behind me, so that I'm in a really good position to go to auctions with a chunk of change in my pocket and to be able to do it with no finance involved and to just build from there, really.
And are you trying to do the smaller flips as well at the side?
Yeah.
Because if you do a JV, obviously that they're bigger deals. So that's
Yeah.
going to take, 18 months
Yeah.
in order for
Long
you to get your
process.
money out? And so will you continue to do smaller flips like the one that you've already done?
Yeah, so I'm going to look for
that
more
point.
of those. Also, now, like I said a minute ago, assisted sales, I think that could be a way. It's kind of like a flip, but with lower costs from what I can see. So, going to go away and do a bit of research into that.
We've got a podcast series on assisted sales.
Yeah, cool.
There's 7 podcasts. You should go and listen to them.
I will.
It's essentially the same stuff that I've talked about today, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's always good to have access to that to then remind yourself of those documents and contracts that you need to
Yes.
satisfy that process.
Yeah. So that, I also want to get into rent to rent a bit. It's a bit of a mouthful, that,
We're
isn't it?
gonna have a conversation about that, aren't we?
Yes.
So we're booked in next week to have
Yeah, next Friday.
to see how we can move your rent to rent business
Yeah.
forward. So long as it's congruent with everything else that you're doing,
Yeah.
that's the first thing that we need to check.
Yes.
So you've got rent to rent that you're going to do.
Rent to rent.
You're going to look for more flips, including assisted sales,
Yep.
and you're looking for a JV opportunity to do with the HQ.
Yes.
Quite a lot on your plate there.
Yeah, well, I've taken my son on as an apprentice,
Yep.
so we've got Beck primed up and ready to go, so he's keen to get his teeth into stuff as well.
I think a lot of people will look at that as something that they really want to do. We have quite a lot of parents and children in the network. How's that gone? How easy has that been? How good are they at seeing things that you see?
He's getting there. He had never worked in property before. He went to college, and he's involved in my other business as well.
The EPC business
Yeah,
or the
so
makeup business?
no makeup anymore.
No, okay.
So he's involved in the booking jobs and doing the floor plans. He's been drawing floor plans since he was about 10. Because obviously when you first set the business up, you can't afford proper employees. So what
So
better-
child labour is the way to go.
Child
folks.
labour
That's
is
what we're
the way.
learning here.
But he was really good at. He was mad about computers. So I showed him how to draw floor plans, and obviously I would check them and stuff like this. But I could pay him extra money during the holidays and stuff for him to do the floor plans. So his kind of property, it's been in him since about 10, and it's kind of slowly building. And now he's on the apprenticeship course, kind of working for me. So my plan is to kind of train him more to look for joint ventures, to do some deal sourcing, cover his salary, that kind of thing.
In terms of finding opportunity or identifying opportunity, should I say, how's he getting on with that? Because that's one of the most difficult
Yeah.
things that you can
Oh
do.
yeah, it's hard, and the thing is, it's frustrating because you'll keep finding things and you'll keep getting to points where the figures just don't work. So you have to hit 8 no's before you can get the 2 yeses. So he's struggling with that, but he's coming to terms with the fact that you get 8 no's.
Resilience is a very
Yeah.
important skill to learn, and no matter what you're in, I guess everybody has that. But in property, you are, there very rarely tends to be somebody behind you that then says, "Come on, let's get back up and let's go again." I mean, that's one of the good things about our network, but also we tend to work with a lot of people that have got that level of resilience because you see that in the most successful people, right?
Excellent. Yeah.
Anything else that you want to add to your little journey?
I think that's been most of my journey. To
I
be
didn't know
fair.
about the makeup thing. That's an absolute blast out of the blue. That one. That's
Luke knew
phenomenal.
about that. Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
Why didn't you say that today in your presentation that you were doing about your?
It's so
the stuff that you've
random.
done?
It's so random. Seriously, we got global distribution rights for a company.
That's
which
phenomenal. Where
insane.
is that company now?
They're still massive. So basically, it's a Chinese brand, and they only want the Chinese market. And we were selling the product, and it was huge at one point, and it all came through us. And then we had people in Dubai wanting it, and Spain, and insane. It was like literally we've just pushed an entire makeup brand.
Yeah,
It's very weird.
yeah. It is very weird, but like I say, it shows your entrepreneurial side, which I think is maybe being satisfied in a different way through
Yeah.
property now.
Very much so.
That's it for today, folks. We hope you found the information useful and informative, but remember, our work doesn't stop here. At Source Franchise, we're dedicated to helping our clients succeed in the property investment and franchise industry. We're the first and only franchise of our kind, providing not just training, but also knowledge and property leads, and even funding through Source Capital. If you want to take the next step in your property investment or franchise journey, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can send us an email or download our prospectus at sourcefranchise.co for more information. We're committed to providing you with all the tools, resources that you need to succeed. We hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please consider giving us a 5-star rating and leaving a comment and hitting the like button. Your support helps us to continue creating valuable content just for you. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Remember, at Source Franchise, we're here to help you succeed every step of the way.